Hello and welcome back to the show, my beautiful audience.
Hey, beautiful audience.
My beautiful audience.
Oh my god, you're so beautiful.
Holy shit!
You're
so beautiful.
audience.
Go drunk, Cody and Lyle. You're home.
Totally beautiful, awesome audience.
Welcome back to another episode of Pop Talk. I'm your host, Cody MacDonald, and Happy New Year, everybody. At the time of this recording, it's a little bit early in the whole release of this episode. We're still recording.
We're a few months away.
Yeah, we're recording this.
By the time you're listening to this, it'll be 2022.
Yeah, it's right now. It's still 2021. We're at the tail end of it, but
we are talking to you from the past.
Whatever happens between now and then, we shall see. But
yeah.
Wow, it's a really interesting little situation I have right now.
You got a game for us tonight.
First of all, I got two fellas here that you might recognize. They're from that one podcast. I think it's called
We run the studio that allows your show to fucking exist. We are your bosses.
Oh, wait a minute.
We don't have to be
It's called Carbonation Conversation.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Carbonation Conversation.
Is it not too late to rebrand ourselves?
Oh wait, no, wait. It's called Soft Drink Babble.
Soft drink socialization.
Something like that. No. I got my co-hosts here, my bosses, my podcasting partner in crimes here for the very first time. Lyle, Mead, and Evan Groninger.
Our girlfriends are gonna listen to this and be like,
my girlfriend doesn't listen to any of this.
What?
No.
Veronica,
No.
you gotta tune in more.
Evan, Mead, and Lyle Groninger. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, I'm great.
And if I get drunk,
great.
well, I'm over
I
there.
feel
You're my friend, and I say, I think I'll have myself a beer.
Oh my god. Party for three here.
Yes,
I love
this
it.
is
Well, yeah, it's a new year, I guess, and we're having a few drinks, and I love to talk to you guys about a certain subject here.
What do you want to talk to
like
us
we
about?
always do.
Hey, is it popular?
Is it talkative?
Is it popular?
A topic, huh? Like we always.
It's a very particular subject, but tonight we are talking about comedy sketch shows.
Alright, I can use a laugh.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to do here is a little bit of a drinking game. So the idea is that I have a list in front of me that I haven't shown you two yet.
Okay.
It's about a dozen shows. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 12 shows. And the idea is that I want you guys, I'll pick and choose whoever goes first and whoever goes next. Just name drop a show, an infamous comedy sketch show that you guys know. And if you get it right, you take a sip. And by the end of it, if you guys are completely stumped and can't think of any other ones, I'll bring them up. Because I have some here that are definitely noteworthy. They're definitely some of the best ones that are out there that definitely need some recognition. And it's really good to kind of point them out. If you can't get them right, and you go like, oh, right, I forgot about that one, you gotta take a double sip.
Oh, damn it.
I'm putting you guys to the ringer.
So wait, we don't know what you're talking about. We gotta drink more?
Yes.
Isn't that gonna bite me in the ass
I think
later?
you guys are probably gonna know these. Don't
Okay.
worry. These aren't like very uncommon. Like,
Okay.
don't worry.
Okay.
They're the ones that are definitely ones that I don't know if you've grown up with these ones or if you've seen them, so I'm kind of excited. But
this is interesting.
I'm
for sure.
either very familiar or pretty familiar with a lot of these choices here. So, Evan, what do you got from me? What's a show? A sketch comedy show?
Yeah.
What's one that comes to mind?
You can't Google.
Okay.
No phones.
Put your fucking phone
Put your
away.
phones away.
Okay,
you fucking zoomers.
A sketch show.
Zoom.
This hour is 22 minutes.
I don't have that one, but that is a good choice, actually. You know what? For that, I'll be an asshole and take a sip.
Okay, but we don't take a sip, right?
Yeah.
Well, what are ones that you like on that show?
Um,
Wait a minute. Actually, it's so funny, actually. Sorry to interrupt, but, like, today when I quoted to the our little group, or the Corona Avengers group, when I quoted that thing where I said, oh, did you know that they're developing a new video game? It's where you play a monster that destroys Toronto and Ontario. It's called the Doug Ford Simulator. I was like, that was actually a TikTok from that show.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, from 22 Minutes.
Oh, nice.
It's hilarious. It's the same guy, actually. I've seen a handful of ones, but I can't say that I've seen all of them to really like know like the shtick of the show. I've only seen snippets. But
I'm sorry, Cody, but I know the bare basics of this hour is 22 minutes. It's a lot of it is cultural and political satire in Canada,
which is fine. I mean, that kind of like dives a little bit into like what's the talk show host shows, like the Daily Report. Trevor Noah, the Stephen Colbert Report. What's our Canadian one again?
The Rick Mercer.
Rick Mercer, yes, Rick Mercer.
Is Rick Mercer even okay?
That's Canadian.
Do you know what? I've always seen Rick Mercer as the Canadian Stephen Colbert.
He is, yeah. I haven't seen that many of 22 Minutes though to really like know the shtick of it. I've only seen snippets. That's
I've never watched the show.
Oh, you've never seen it?
I've heard of it. I don't watch it.
What about? Have either of you seen Royal Canadian Air Farce?
Yeah. It's the least funny show I've ever watched.
I've heard it's not funny.
It's boring.
Yeah.
And it's political, which is even worse.
I cannot say that I've heard of it.
So I guess it's my turn.
But yeah, Lyle, which one do you got?
Well, I'm quite versed on a lot of these sketch shows. I feel like I'm going to get a little bit more than Evan, not to boast. But,
it's okay.
Since we're on the topic of Canadian sketch shows, do you have SCTV?
Of course I have SCTV. Take a sip, boys.
One of my favorite shows.
You got Eugene Levy.
Holy
Catherine O'Hara.
John
Joe Flannery.
Joe Flattery.
Flattery. Yeah, that's the jackass.
Yeah, or the Floyd the Vampire. John Candy.
John Candy, of course. Yeah. Dave Thomas.
Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas.
So that's where Strange Brew came from. That's where Bob and Doug McKenzie came from.
McKenzie. God damn it.
Strange Brew.
Have you seen Strange Brew?
I have. Yeah.
That's it's a pretty funny movie.
Strange Brew is
funky movie.
You know, do you remember when?
Do you
remember when Rick Moranis and his co-star Doug McKenzie?
Yeah, Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas.
They were in Brother Bear.
They were moose.
They were mooses.
Wait, why is it goose and geese and not moose and meese?
Because it was weird. That's why. That's just moose and moose. It's not even mooses.
No, like in the movie Brother Bear.
We're also for Andrea Martin.
Yep.
Harold Ramis for a time.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
What?
Yeah, he was. He wasn't Canadian, but he worked on the show.
I can imagine, right?
Well, it's interesting because he was very close with Ivan Reitman, who was Canadian.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess Rick Moranis and like John Candy, like they're all in that kind of like pack, you know.
Dan Aykroyd.
Bill Murray was probably so close. I mean, to being an SCTV, but he's American.
Well, he shows up in another show. We're gonna talk about.
Well, it's like this.
Yeah.
There was this whole plethora of like comedians who grew up in Canada in the 70s and went to America in the 80s to get careers. Do you know that my dad my dad went to Carleton in the early 70s, and he told me stories about how he was friends with a guy who was best friends with Dan Aykroyd, and he met Dan a couple times. Mm-hmm. He said Dan was always this lighthearted, funny guy who always lit up a room with his laughter.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was in TFS, and Karen Hazard, right?
Not just Karen Hazard. The late Karen Hazard and the late Rick Bennett.
Rick Bennett, John Candy's manager.
Yes,
he was running the school at the time. But Karen Hazard, we were having a discussion on Canadian content, and she was talking about everyone always says the greatest Canadian show of all time is like Corner Gas or something. But you know what it really is? And then I raised my hand. I was like, "What do you think it is, Lyle?" I'm like, "SCTV." And she shook my hand, and we talked about it for a whole hour after class.
The show where like. You're allowed to have like TVs thrown out of a high-rise apartment building.
What are some of your favorite skits?
The one that I always remember because like I watched it, I stumbled across it by accident just when it was showing on the reruns on the Comedy Central. Yeah, Comedy Central had a lot early in the morning. I remember at one portion when I was growing up. I've seen so many of them. But like I need to rewatch them and hopefully they're like properly restored.
Oh my god, we forgot Martin Short. Martin Short's on that show.
Oh, of course,
too.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Canadian Idol. Yeah.
We still gotta watch this holiday season. Have we watched the Santa Claus 3?
Yeah, you guys did, yeah. I hate that movie. And I love Martin Short, but I hate him in that movie.
The plot doesn't happen until an hour into the movie.
Seriously? Stay on topic.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Stay on topic. So, the only sketch that I remembered from that show that made me laugh so hard is with John Candy. It was a play on The Incredible Hulk, but it was called The Incredible Bulk. And it was just John Candy coming in the room. He has the green makeup and everything. He's like Chris Farley. I'm not kidding, in this scene where he's just in this sketch where he's literally just smashing the room. He's trying to have like a doctor report with you just said her name, sorry.
Andrea Martin.
Andrea Martin plays like the psychiatrist that's trying to explain to him what happened. He's saying like, "Oh, this happened to you because you ate a rotten olive." And I just always remember John Candy going, "Rotten olive, rotten olive, rotten olive." And he like picks her up, and it cuts to it cuts to a wide shot. It's just him throwing a dummy out the window, but it's supposed to be her. And he's just smashing the room, and it's all crazy. It's just John Candy completely acting like a Hulk monster.
I love the one part. He has, I forget what it's called. It's like Dr. Weird's House of 3D or something. And he has a plate of pancakes. He's like, hello, would you like some pancakes? And he just pushes the pancakes in and out in front of the camera, and the music's like. It's like something Tom Green would do. I don't know, but it's another Canadian legend.
It feels like I've seen that show, and it was like a different world, like a different time in my life. Like, and they haven't been properly restored, which really pisses me off because I would watch those.
Yeah, they don't have the best quality, but like it's a classic Canadian show. So many talented people came from that.
Absolutely.
That's where they got their start, and I respect that show wholeheartedly.
It's funny, I mentioned this movie once before on the podcast, I forget when, but like one of my first movies I ever watched was Sesame Street Presents Follow That Bird.
Oh yeah, John Candy's in it.
And not only John Candy, almost the entire cast of SCTV is in this film. Like Joe Flaherty.
Yeah.
Joe Flaherty and Dave Thomas play the villains in this film. Yeah. Like they're like the two crooks that kidnap Big Bird in this movie.
Why can't I watched Sesame Street when I was a kid? Why can't I remember Follow That
Speaking
Bird?
of content,
well, it's a movie, but John Candy and actually, funny enough, Chevy Chase makes a cameo as well as a news anchor.
Wild. Yeah,
it's awesome.
You know,
there's so many cameos.
Speaking of movies with those guys,
sorry to interrupt. The only reason why I brought that up is because it was a Canadian production. It was shot around Newmarket in Ontario, so that's probably why the connection.
I got another Canadian movie that's totally not for kids. I want to talk about it someday. It's called Heavy Metal. That movie, John Candy plays like.
I want to see it. I haven't seen
it.
You should borrow
Cody
it.
is.
Can we please watch
Heavy?
It?
I will watch it with you. Yes.
Can we watch The Warriors and Heavy Metal?
The three of us watch.
Yes.
Three of us.
Oh,
watch
yes.
Warriors and Heavy Metal.
Can we please?
You're on.
Okay, but that
we
movie.
need to fulfill the prophecy of Cody watching The Warriors.
Yeah, John Candy plays 3 different characters in that movie. He plays a crooked cop in this one sequence that's almost like a Martin Scorsese movie, but in the future. And then he plays this one guy named Den who gets transported to another dimension. And he's like a big, muscular guy, and he has to talk like a man. He's like, oh, there's no way I'm going to walk around this place with my dork hanging out. I got to cover up. And he sees this naked woman. It's like, she had the most beautiful eyes. And then another story, the final character, he plays a robot, a really horny robot. And he sees this lady. He's like, oh, holy shit. Oh, we should get married. Wow, we have great sex. It's amazing. You know? And then she's like, can you take me back to Earth? We can't go back to Earth. The fucking spaceship's broken. You marry me. Yeah, okay, but I want a Jewish wedding. Jewish, wow. and Joe Flaherty's in the movie. Harold Ramis is in the movie. He does like space cocaine. It's amazing. He's like, guys, no, remember, the trick of flying through space when you're high is that your perception's fucked. So you gotta kind of make up for it. This is great. Nosedive. You gotta watch this movie with me, buddy. It's my mom introduced me to it. It's one of my favorite like guilty pleasures. But anyways, yeah, that's another movie with SCTV.
You know what movie I want to see that has an SCTV cast member? Canadian Bacon. I've heard that there's this scene. I haven't seen it, but I have heard. My stepdad told me about it. He basically said that there's this scene where the Canadian cop pulls over these like guy. Apparently, Michael Moore, the documentary filmmaker,
that was one of his first
all
movies.
Michael Moore directed that?
He did, yeah.
No way.
I think wasn't it one of John Candy's last movies?
Maybe.
I think it was.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
Wagons
it was
East
last.
too.
So the whole idea is that like there's a scene where the heroes are like on a quest and they have like a truck covered in graffiti, and then a cop stops them and says, "Why is your graffiti in English and not French as well? Because Canada's a bilingual country." The whole idea is like there's like this tension between Canada and the U.S. It's kind of like yeah.
Well, I could talk about SCTV all day, but we should roll along.
I'll name drop one just before I take you guys.
Okay.
I'm guessing, but do you guys know the Carol Burnett show?
I heard of it.
Vaguely.
Yeah, like this was actually groundbreaking for its time. Actually, to even just have like a woman lead of a comedy sketch show from the 1960s.
Can I say one more thing about SCTV, just briefly?
Oh, sure.
You know, a good spiritual successor to SCTV would be like Schitt's Creek. A lot of the people from SCTV went on to that show.
Oh, what's his name?
Eugene Levy.
Yeah, his son.
And
right?
his son,
Yeah,
Dan
yeah.
Levy, and Catherine O'Hara. Martin Short appears too.
Ah.
And I guarantee you, if John Candy was, if he was still with us, he would be on that show.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I don't
man.
doubt that for a
Oh,
second.
man.
For sure.
I miss that.
Well,
man.
the fact
Yeah,
that
sorry to
Schitt's
interrupt.
Creek has
Oh, no,
gotten
no.
Emmys.
I'm okay.
The fact
I'm not.
it
too,
won records.
I'm
for
not-
its time.
That's great for Canadian.
I'm not so big on modern Canadian content. I'm looking at you, Kim's Convenience.
You
don't like Kim's Convenience?
I like that show.
It's kind of lame,
It's
but
a little
whatever.
lame.
Yo,
but it's
but
okay.
guys,
it's fine.
I get giddy when
okay.
I go. I get giddy when I'm on the streetcar and I go down Queen Street.
Oh,
and
yeah, me
I
too.
pass the convenience store. I'm like, hey.
That's so close to our house.
It is, yeah. No, you know what? Where is our friend Sean when we need him? Because Sean
Stokes.
Sean Stokes is like a big advocate for Canadian content. He actually was the guy who said, if Dune makes a shit ton of money, I want Denise to pump all that cash back into the Canadian film industry to basically allow content to
Wow,
Really?
you just gave me like flashbacks to talk when you guys were talking about Canadian movies in that
Oh,
podcast.
I like that
Wow,
episode.
Fuck, that was like a year ago.
Yeah, Cody, back to the Carol Burnett
Yes,
show.
sorry. Carol
That
Burnett
was a
show-
year ago, exactly.
Carol Burnett show was like a groundbreaking film or show. Sorry,
What a good movie.
The Carol Burnett
Carol
Show, the
It's-
movie.
It's like the Truman Show, but not.
I have been talking about film so much on this goddamn show that I can't even get my fucking life straight. I just found out recently that there's more than life than movies.
Yeah, because you
What
did
the
a Pink Floyd
the
episode.
fuck
I
are you
know.
talking about,
I just
man?
recently found that out. Like I'm like, oh,
No,
wait,
man,
television, music.
Yeah, you're
What?
wasted. All I do is watch movies.
Okay, the Carol Burnett show was a groundbreaking comedy sketch show from the 1960s.
Yeah.
And I've only seen it once. And the funny thing is, I remember my mom overhyping the show a lot when she was saying there was this one cast member on the show named Tim Conaway.
Yeah.
Tim Conway,
Tim Conway. And there's
a.k.a. Barnacle Boy.
and there's a yes actually yeah. And there's a famous sketch where he plays a dentist. And I forget the guy who's in the chair that's complaining about his tooth being sore, but Tim Conway plays this dentist that's so incompetent and it's his first day on the job that he keeps injecting the what's the stuff called that like freezes your...
Novocaine.
Yeah, he injects that into his arm, which makes it all numb and weird, and he accidentally injects it into his leg.
Classic.
And the guy trying to like stay in character, it's like a Saturday Night Live thing where you're like he's trying not to break because he's smiling and he's trying to hold it in. Apparently, this cast member, I'm forgetting his name, couldn't go through a sketch with Tim Conway because Tim Conway was just
Made him laugh so much.
literally was out to make him laugh in every single sketch. And it is I've seen it for the very first time last year. And it's the only actually sketch that I've actually seen from the show, and I wish I've seen more. I think everything's available on Prime Video, so definitely check it out. I definitely don't want to leave it out because it is a very noteworthy one.
That's good.
Don't want to say I can't really say much about it, and I wish I could actually. But at the time growing up, when my mom was actually mentioning that the show was and hilarious, it just wasn't available. There was no DVD sales. There was nothing. So.
Okay, that's a good shout out. Evan, it's your turn to pick a show. We gotta keep going.
See, I feel like the odd man out in this episode because I'm not well versed in comedy sketches. Although, like,
You gotta know at least a handful.
I know-
just
I do
by
know at least a handful.
Osmosis.
Name something.
Come on.
this might not be. Forgive me if this
I'm gonna
isn't
shove
comedy.
alcohol down your
Okay,
throat.
no. This may not be.
Daddy.
This may not count as comedy sketch. Mork and Mindy.
That's a sitcom.
That's more sitcom.
Forget
Yeah.
it.
That's a sitcom.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll name drop one before I pass it down.
Let me
to
give
you.
it. Let me see if I can come up with some sketch comedy. SNL.
There we
There
go.
you go. I was waiting for you to say
Well,
that
before
one.
we get into it, I just have to say
I thought
one
that would
thing.
be too obvious.
Before we get into it,
Who
guys, before we get into it, I just have to say one thing, and that is, live from New York, it's Saturday night! Okay, why don't we start off with the Juggernaut
God damn it,
a little bit early?
This is gonna take forever to get through.
Okay,
This.
well,
We're talking about 50, 60 years of television.
what's your favorite era?
Oh, that's a good
Okay.
question. I have two.
When I was in high school, I had a friend and he got me really into it. He showed me the greatest Celebrity Jeopardy skits where Alex Trebek is Will Ferrell is Alex Trebek.
Norm Macdonald plays Burt Reynolds, and I forget his name. He was a cast member for a while in the early 2000s. He played Sean Connery.
Who's Sean Connery?
That's what I'm trying to remember his name. I think it's Daryl Hannon.
No,
Yeah, I think it's
Suck
Daryl
on
Hannon.
it, Trebek.
Truck on a Trebek.
Suck it long and suck it hard.
Hey, Trebek, I have a fancy joke to tell you. What's the difference between you and a mallet with a cold? One's a sick duck. I forget how the joke ends, but your mother's a whore.
May the legendary Sean Connery rest in
But
peace.
I love how when like Sean Connery be like, all right, Alex, because they're playing Jeopardy, right? He's like, I'll take the rapist for 800. That's therapists. Like he always like mixed up the words on the category.
Man. My favorite eras on the show, there's two of them I really admire. The first one, definitely gotta be the 90s era, with like, you got like the basically the Happy Madison crew before they got shitty.
Not so much the Happy Madison crew. Like aside from Rob Schneider,
We had
and
like David Spade, you had Adam Sandler, you had Chris Rock,
Mike
and,
Myers,
Mike Myers,
rest in peace, Chris Farley.
I want to talk about Chris Farley for a while, but I'll get to that later. And then you had like,
You're gonna talk about that certain.
and Phil Hartman and Julia
Phil
Sweeney.
Man, why are there so many? You keep raising your glass. There's so many tragic characters on Saturday Night Live.
Because people die, Evan. There's no other way around it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but
It's sad.
Chris
Well,
Rock.
actually,
Chris
both
Rock.
of those guys.
Chris Rock as well.
I mentioned him, yeah.
Oh, Chris Rock, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Myers, Julia Sweeney, Molly Shannon as well.
Molly Shannon. Well, Molly Shannon was late 2000s, kind of in the Will Ferrell.
She
like,
wasn't late 2000s.
Oh no, sorry, late 90s. Late 90s.
Okay,
is what I meant to
that's
say.
fair,
Yeah. Because I think Mike Myers was one of the last people to leave the cast of the 90s.
Why am I forgetting his name? The guy who played Garth in Wayne's World.
Oh, Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey, thank you. Yeah, and then, those are all, like, classics. They height of their careers, like, just starting out, being brash, being crazy.
Yeah.
And then, like, I actually really love the earliest set, like, the not yet ready for prime time, like, the 70s ones. My mom had all the box sets with, like, Dan Aykroyd,
Chevy Chase,
Gilda Radner, Chevy Chase,
Do
John.
you know who was the
Belushi.
Do you know who was the very first person to host Saturday Night Live?
Who?
The late great George Carlin.
George Carlin, that's right.
I am raising my glass all the
Yes.
way up. George Carlin, the funniest
George
man,
Carlin,
the funniest man who ever lived. Oh
I remember
my
a
God.
joke he said in the first episode. Like, I've been really getting into oxymorons lately. Like jumbo, shrimp, military, intelligence. You know what I mean?
You know Land Shark?
It's like
Land Shark.
they want to ban the toy guns, and they want to keep the fucking real ones.
Candygram. Oh, and John Belushi. Oh my God.
Another great.
Jane Curtin,
raising her glass.
Lorraine Newman, Garrett Morris. You gotta shout him out too. All those people were great. Oh, and Bill Murray came in too.
Steve Martin joined.
He was a host.
He was a host.
He hosted all the time. Same with Buck Henry, the guy who wrote The Graduate. Yeah, I watched. I had a lot of the collections, like the big compendiums. Kind of long to sit through. Not every one was great, but the music because of those compendiums, I am like the biggest fan of Devo because they were so weird on SNL. They came on with like the Boogie Boys.
We can almost do a whole podcast about musical guests on. Holy shit!
Fucking SNL in general, we could do an episode on.
Yeah,
but this is a teaser.
It's so big of a juggernaut. It's. But here's the thing, and this can honestly be said about most of the shows we're going to be name dropping tonight. Is that sketch comedy definitely has its place, and I'm a huge fan. It's comfort food, just very broadly. I love watching just very situational,
the bits and pieces.
The situational like places that you find where it's very like centered and it's one set. But you find that like with a lot of sketches,
It's
There's a lot of it's very hit and miss.
Yeah,
very
it's
hit
kind of
and
like
miss.
Family Guy. It's like I don't want to watch a full episode. I want to watch the parts I like.
Yeah.
I want to have a trail mix collection of all the things I like. I want Matt Foley, motivational speaker. You know what? You're gonna be smoking doobies on a van down by the river. You know, that kind of thing.
When
like
you're watching like David Spade on the couch,
cracking up
trying not
Christina
to break
Applegate,
and
is dying.
that's the hallmark of Saturday Night Live, is trying to watch people not to break character. When you're seeing them just trying to crack up, it's the best part, because that's the highlight of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd say I echo as well. 90s, because I had the best of like Adam Sandler, best of Dana Carvey, Mike Myers. Like, oh my god, there's so many fucking sketches. But here's the amazing thing, Lyle, and I don't know if you know about this.
Okay.
But like you said, I had the box sets as well, or even like the individual DVDs that
the collection.
Yeah, where it's the best of things. But there's a lot more sketches, and the problem is that I don't know if you experienced this in the 2000s, and I guess in the late 2010s. But like, you try to watch these sketches online on like NBC.com. Sorry, you're not available in this country.
Yeah,
I hate that.
NBC is incredibly
they're stingy.
They are incredibly litigious with SNL content.
And here's the thing that I just noticed recently,
Yeah.
because like last year I had nothing to do because of quarantine. I discovered almost everything is now on the Saturday Night Live YouTube channel. Shit that you've never seen before.
Yeah, sketches.
And I made a giant playlist on YouTube. I said, I haven't seen this sketch from like the 90s, the 80s. And I just watched, literally, I watched 5 days worth of sketches. And it was like finding like a treasure chest, like a lost sunken treasure of like, wow, I haven't seen any of this stuff before. And it's all these people I love. Mm-hmm. All these sketches that weren't available on the DVDs growing up. Yeah, and I think I know why that they released it regionally, because of one thing. I'm forgetting the term. Fuck.
Oh, what an excellent point you made, Cody. Great point.
Sorry. Drinks. Sorry, but what's the thing called where you try to like hide your region and you try to like
region
VPN
coding?
Huh?
VPN.
VPN. Thank you. Yes, because people now have a VPNs. Thank you.
That can hack that. Yeah.
They can hack that. They can bypass that. It doesn't matter where you live.
It's just a simple thing.
Well, it's now that you can sort of hide the fact that you live in a certain region. They're probably like, fuck it. Now just make everything available to everyone.
Yeah. I know, like SNL's had such a history, and like I remember, like even some of their movies are pretty a couple of them are pretty sweet, like Blues Brothers and Wayne's World.
Brothers and Wayne's World succeeded, while Night at the Roxbury, Superstar all failed.
No,
MacGruber. Yes,
I saw that recently.
MacGruber is fucking hilarious.
So,
stupid as fuck.
It's
so
John
dumb,
Belushi.
John Belushi,
Yeah.
I'm always down with
what are your thoughts on Animal House? I mean, I don't know if it's related.
That's
to
no, it's not. It's a John Landis movie, but that was his like big starring role.
Yeah, it was his starring role. Yeah.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? The Germans.
Hey,
what? He's on a roll.
He's on a roll. Shut up.
Yeah. That's my dad's all-time favorite comedy.
I love Animal House too. Yeah.
No, the issue I have with Animal House is that it's a good movie. It's just that I'm not really the story. I know what the story is. It's just that there's tons of characters to keep track of. I need to watch it again to understand what's going on.
Okay, yeah.
Here's one sketch that'll always be funny no matter what. I mean, you can say what you want about modern day Saturday Night Live, where it's a bit like not as it's too calculated. It's too like HD, and it just doesn't feel right. Something about it just doesn't feel right. But Weekend Update will always
Weekend Update
have a place.
Is legendary.
Yeah. And I want to do a toast and an impression to Norm Macdonald.
Yes.
Canadian
Norm Macdonald.
Fucking idol.
May he rest in peace.
And I'm about to do a tribute. One of my favorite jokes that he did as the Weekend Update host, as an impression of him as well. You ready?
All right, here we go.
So it was during the OJ trial. You ready? Judge Ito was interviewed today by a local interviewer in Los Angeles. He was asked by the mayor if it was appropriate enough to have an impartial judge being away from the trial. And Ito shot back, I don't know, but how appropriate is it to kill your ex-wife?
Oh.
And I love how he just stares into the camera after every single joke that he makes on Week to Update. It's like he stares at it going like, I know this is bad and I know this is funny, but like, I'm smiling because I know I got you all.
But
that's the genius behind Norm Macdonald.
You know what I hate, man? Speaking of Norm Macdonald, you ever look at the Rolling Stones? Like, they rank every single cast member of SNL. He's at the very bottom, like just above Robert Downey Jr., who was on SNL.
You're saying Kevin Nealon?
Yeah, Jim Brewer is better than Norm Macdonald.
What?
I don't fucking know why.
No.
Because people thought he was wrong. They thought he was like, oh, he's getting a rise out of people.
What's the guy that's like he was in Good Burger? He's gonna coast on like
Kenan Thompson?
Yes. Kenan Thompson's better than Norm Macdonald.
Who did Kenan Thompson play in Good Burger?
He was the big guy.
The side guy.
He wasn't the annoying guy. He was like
don't worry.
guy.
I'll be talking about Good Burger in another show that we'll be talking about on this podcast.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Like, it's just like, because he got fired from the show. Eventually, he got fired, and then they brought him back as host. He's like, well, I guess they thought I was unfunny, but I guess their standards have just fallen this low, hasn't it?
Do you know what?
It's sad.
Do you know what?
Don't look at that list.
Do you know what sketch?
Me off.
Do you know what sketch is not funny anymore because it's so quoted and overrated, and kind of overrated actually? Funny enough.
Which one?
The cowbell.
Oh yeah,
with Christopher Walken.
It's just
I got a
Need more cowbell.
You got like prescription.
Do you remember when
the funniest part is Jimmy Fallon trying not to break character playing the drummer?
He always does that.
He's biting down on his fucking drumsticks like, you're just being so selfish.
Do you remember, Cody? Do you remember? Okay, not to stray too far from the topic, but
yeah.
Do you remember in the Jon Favreau? I know we like to shit on the Disney live action remakes, but do you remember Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book where Christopher Walken plays King Louie, the orangutan?
Yes.
And he's like, he has a cowbell. I'm like, I see what you did there, John.
Yeah. It's a very obvious reference. The thing with Saturday Night Live is that...
Hey, there's Evan being the Disney expert who covered Mulan with Cody on this show. Coming back.
It's fine. You're passionate. It's totally fine.
No.
The thing with Saturday Night Live is, it's too big of a juggernaut to really break down. It almost deserves an entire podcast just to break down. But it's literally the pinnacle definition of a sketch comedy show where there's a lot of hits but a lot of misses. So there's a few that I'm actually curious because you're also not as a big Nickelodeon fan as I was growing up with the kid shows, but I'm curious to know if there were two shows that you watched growing up.
Hit me with them.
And I'm going to talk to them about them simultaneously because they actually coincide quite nicely, actually. And I'm kind of curious about you too, Lyle. But I am curious if you guys watched as a kid. All That and The Amanda Show.
Yes. No. I watched both of them.
You haven't seen any sketches?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're going to get some topics. Trust me. Okay, All That. I've only actually seen the worst part of the show. Where, like, Lisa Foles, Jamie Spears, like Britney Spears' sister, Jack DeSena, the guy that later on played the voice of Sokka in The Last Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's some sketches that were kind of funny and cheeky, but it's really just like the joke is that these kids are just yelling, and that's the joke. It's
very loud.
It's very loud and over-exaggerated. But Amanda Bynes, I actually find The Amanda Show better than All That.
It is, yeah.
It is way better. That's where Josh Peck and Drake Bell came from. Mm-hmm. If you guys are a fan of Drake and Josh, that's where they came from.
That's right.
And there's one part, maybe you'll relate to this, Lyle, but do you remember that scene in Big Fat Liar where, like, yeah, he perks up because you love this movie, where Amanda Bynes just says, like, I want you to take Marty Wolf and snap him like a twig and tweeze them.
I want you to turn him into mincemeat, and I don't even know what mincemeat is!
During that whole scene, I'm like, easy, Amanda, you're not on your show. Stop it. Because that's that was just her rambling, and that's exactly how she acts like on her show.
Yeah.
She's very charismatic for like an 11, 12-year-old at the time that they made the show. Like, she had a lot of charisma.
She would have been like 13, 14. But the thing is, more to the point, what the hell happened to Amanda Bynes? What the hell happened?
I had a crush on her too.
What the hell happened?
Well, hey, anybody like our generation, it was Hilary Duff and Amanda Bynes.
I'd take Amanda
and the threefold, Lindsay Lohan.
Oh.
All three of them.
Mean Girls, Confession to a Teenage Drama
Freaky Friday. Yeah.
The remake of Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
I'm old! I beg your...
like the Crypt Keeper!
But because
going.
there's one sketch from the Amanda Show that I have to bring up to you guys that I think you'll get a fucking kick out of it because it is hysterical as a concept, as a premise. Yeah. Do you guys remember, or do you remember, Lyle, do you remember Blockbuster?
No, I don't remember
So
much.
the whole concept was that it's a Blockbuster like video store where Amanda Bynes and like Drake Bell and like I forget who plays the father. They all play
Dan
like this.
Schneider?
I don't know if it was Dan Schneider. It was some cast member. I forget who it was. I think Dan Schneider was actually the creator of the show.
Yeah, I don't like him.
All these three of them play like this foreign family that owns this video store, and the whole premise of it is that people come in complaining like, I rented this movie. I asked for Stuart Little, right? And it's like, no, you didn't ask for Stuart Little. You just asked for Stuart Lipple. And then they'll be like, what? No, play this movie, and they'll play it on the TV. You know how there's always a TV that's above high in video stores. They play it, and it's them, the foreign family, making really crude and amateur reenactments of the movie. Okay. And people go, that wasn't the movie that I rented. So
it's like Be Kind or Run.
I was just gonna bring that up.
It's not Be Kind or Run, but it's hilarious as a premise that this family is trying to like just play it off so friendly, but they're really like the most brilliant scam artists. They have a video store where every single video on the fucking
so
shelf
it's like Be Kind
is
or
something
Wine.
made by them, but like
it's
just so bad. It's all one flat take. They just put a tripod and they're just like,
hey, wait, you said they're European. Are they Swedish?
No, I don't get it.
Big Kind of Rewind. Every time they remade a movie,
I've only seen the movie once.
They say, "Oh, we're gonna Swede that movie."
I don't know.
Okay, maybe people who know the movie will.
Okay.
Or there was Penelope, the biggest fan of Amanda. Amanda, please. Remember that?
Not really.
I'm the biggest fan of Amanda. I love Amanda. AmandaBynes.com.
Why does she sound like Eminem?
Well, she had this like weird talking way because she's socially awkward. It was played by Amanda Bynes too.
Not Amanda Bynes.
There's some really great sketches. They're very cheeky and fun.
I wish I remember because I did watch this a lot.
Remember the Dare Show?
No, I don't remember these sketches. I just
the Girls' Room. The Girls' Room. Remember that one? No?
I don't remember it.
There's one girl in the
liked
girls' room.
it, but I don't remember. These high school
kids, girls that are in the girls' room, and there's one girl named Debbie. She was clearly like trying to play like a stone character, but even though it's a kid show, she's clearly playing like a dumb high character that was like, I like eggs.
Okay, that sounds familiar. Okay,
my favorite expression is this. Like just dumb shit like that.
Okay, I'm sorry to take. Okay, so I don't mean to sound like a cynical bastard, but sometimes it's funny to see Cody rant, and especially when it comes to the works of one Seth MacFarlane. You want to talk about sketches? You think I know where I'm going with this? What do you guys think of Seth MacFarlane's cartoon Cavalcade?
Okay, I want to. Can I please hold on to that era?
Yes, sure.
Because internet sketch comedy.
Internet?
Sort of ruined television.
How is it internet if it got its own DVD release?
Hang on. Well, it can, whatever.
Sure.
I mean, sales, whatever. I want to save that for last because things like Funny or Die and whatever you just said. What's the full title?
Seth MacFarlane's Cartoon Cavalcade.
Kind of ruined the televisionized form of comedy sketch comedies, but I want to save that for last because there's one show that I want to save that was sort of like the end of that era. But I still want to talk about more. All That. Do you guys remember All That?
I thought we were just talking about all
that's where Good Burger came from.
I thought we were just talking about All That.
Oh, I know, but I did All That.
No, you didn't say all that you had to say about All That.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? And they're like, that's so funny. That deserves a movie. Oh my god.
I don't get it. They're trying to be like Saturday Night Live, you know.
But again, it was too loud and too extravagant. I mean, it had its place, but yeah. It was okay.
I loved it when I was a kid, but I barely remember it. I just remember it's like the more times I watched it because it had Amanda on it, and then she left the show and she wasn't on it anymore. I didn't recognize. The more times I watched it, I was like, I don't recognize anyone anymore.
It was juvenile, but Amanda's show worked in a juvenile way where All That was really like it was kind of like the kid version of Saturday Night Live.
I would say so. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of juvenile, MADtv.
Okay.
I don't want to say.
Stuart.
Gotta take a sip now.
Stuart. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
I remember. Now,
Stewart.
I know.
We have Michael MacDonald. Is that his name?
Yeah, Michael MacDonald.
Michael MacDonald. You have Will Sasso.
Will Sasso. You have oh my God, what's her name?
We'll get to them eventually because they wanted to.
I'm thinking of the lady who played Shigo in Kim Possible, Nicole Sullivan. That's right.
Nicole Sullivan. Well, she's actually on the Amanda Show.
Oh, she is that? She's on that too.
Yeah. She's on the Amanda Show.
Man, I love her voice.
Oh, she's hilarious.
It gives me a boner. Her voice gives me a boner. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
What were some sketches you remember from that show?
MADtv.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Stewart. Obviously, I loved every single sketch with him. Just this little boy played by a man. I don't want to say, excuse me. I'm starting to wheezy voice.
I love the way when he breaks, like he sounds like very threatening at the end of his sentences. I love it. Michael MacDonald was the guy in the first. I guess famously in the first Austin Powers movie where like he's almost gonna get run over by the steamroller and it's like 20 feet away in this wide shot.
He's in Halloween Kills, eh?
Isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I did.
All I remember is that you and I were going to go see it, and...
then Michael gave me a free ticket to
yeah, no,
see
because I canceled because...
I thought you didn't want to see it because you don't like
the
horror movies.
woman who is now my girlfriend invited me out on our first date. And
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I remember a cast member, because it's a very funny reoccurring character. Do you remember Bobby Lee? The comedian Bobby Lee? He's the Asian guy. He played
in Fargo, right?
The show?
No, the movie. It's like, you're super lady, and I'm so lonely.
Oh, the guy that sat next to her
Yeah.
and she was uncomfortable?
Yeah, the guy who hit on her.
I
Yeah.
can't remember if that was him or not.
I think that was Bobby.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But do you guys remember, he's the Asian comedian that he played the blind kung fu master? It's like, ha ha ha, this evil villain will be like, who will stop my power? Then his whole quote, his introduction is, it is I, the blind kung fu master. And the whole joke, it's like the Mr. Magoo, like he's blind and he like, you know, mistaken something for something else because he's blind. Do you remember? Okay, Will Sasso. I know he's famous.
He's in really shitty movies.
He's
funny.
He's a famous Viner when Vine was a thing.
Twerk!
Okay. Also, to the Zoomers, Vine is TikTok, but just a few years early.
Yeah. Poor Vine.
He played Kenny Rogers, like the singer Kenny Rogers, but it was Jackass. Like, hi, I'm Kenny Rogers, and this is Jackass.
Not
and he's drunk.
At first I'm like, Kenny Rogers, the singer. Don't you mean Kenny Loggins? Like, highway to the danger zone.
Wasn't there a gummy
gummy
sketch?
It wouldn't be a pop talk if I mentioned that they did a very funny sketch parodying Lost. Very funny, and only fans can understand it. But
OnlyFans.
Only.
We've had too much.
Get naked and then you'll understand it.
Nicole Sullivan. Sign up, please.
Yeah, MADtv was almost like if you watch like all that in the Amanda Show, MADtv is almost like a nice step up from that because where it feels very like teen oriented, like that was the demographic that it was going for. Like it's very juvenile. Like, do you remember there was also the alternate ending to Wizard of Oz where like Glenda comes and says, "Oh, Dorothy, you had the way of going home this whole time," and Dorothy breaks character. Is like, "What the fuck, you bitch! You should have just told me right when I arrived. What the fuck?"
But then you wouldn't have been able to go on the adventure that changed your character.
Exactly. But then the Tin Man was like, "Calm down, Dorothy. We're gonna go home." And he's like, "Shut up, you homo!"
Wow.
And the funny thing is that when like Dorothy's beating up Glenda, in a state of panic, the Tin Man goes, "There's no place like home, no place like home." He taps his heels, and he wakes up, and he wakes up in a dream, in a sepia-tone reality, and he's next to this other Tin Man boy, like, "Oh, hey, honey, did you have a bad dream?" I'm like, "Yes, I did. I just had a terrible dream. You weren't in my dream." But then he goes, "Oh, it's okay, honey. Do you want me to use the oil can on you?" And he pours it on his crotch, and then the steam comes out of his head.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No, sorry. Do you know that as revolutionary a film as The Wizard of Oz was, do you know that despite its critical acclaim, the production was such a shit show? The little people actors who played the Munchkins got underpaid horribly, like to the point where it's a human rights violation.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
The actor who played the Tin Man was allergic to the paint that made his makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he apparently it caused him like really like skin burning rashes. It was horrible.
Yeah, I know. It was a miracle that movie turned out as cherished and as classic as it is.
Yeah.
Do you remember MADtv at all, Evan? Or
I'm really sorry. I don't. Okay, I don't. My only memory of MADtv was through The Simpsons with that one episode, the B plot of Team Homer, like Two Bad Neighbors, like no, not Team Homer. Sorry, why the hell did I say Two Bad
Are you
Neighbors?
talking about the Homer Simpson versus the City of New York?
No,
that's Mad
that's
Magazine.
that's where Bart goes to Mad Magazine.
That's Mad Magazine.
That's connected, right? The magazine and the show.
Mad Magazine and MADtv would
yeah.
have been like the same company, but the thing is,
Okay.
do you remember?
I actually never put two and two together.
My,
I didn't do that
my
much
exposure
research.
to Mad was with Down with homework, and Bart starts a riot, and that causes the whole Springfield
That's the Mad
Elementary
Magazine
School.
reference.
Yeah.
I
And
always
then
felt-
Skinner goes on this bizarre rant where it's like, oh, it was because Skinner served in Nam, and it's like apparently one of his comrades.
Anyways, yeah, I always felt like MADtv was like the aggressive version of SNL. It's like every joke was just either loud or violent or like just unnerving. Like that's what they went for.
Yeah, and also two cast members that were on this show, Jordan Peele and Keenan Ivory Key.
Oh,
Key and
shit,
Peele!
right.
I wonder if they would go on to do anything else.
I wonder.
Can I got
Yes,
one.
go.
Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the
Oh,
hall.
Dave Foley.
Yeah, your doppelganger, Cody.
My doppelganger.
Get a picture of you next to Dave Foley.
Do you remember
and
when
see if
we?
people
Do you remember
disagree.
Lyle when we watched Sky High with the Corona Avengers and Dave Foley was?
Yeah, Dave Foley was in it.
I didn't watch this show that much until I was much older. Like,
Oh, I watched it when I was a
really
kid.
recent, actually.
My favorite skit was always, it's a Canadian show. You got Kevin MacDonald, you got Dave Foley, Bruce McCullough, Scott Thomas?
Scott Thomas, yeah.
Thomas, god damn, I'm good.
Hey,
Kevin, I think I said his name already. Okay. He's on Superstore, I forget his name. Kevin McLeary?
I'm not sure on the cast members,
I
actually.
don't remember.
The two, I'll go quickly. The two sketches that I remember from Kids in the Hall that really, really hit me hard was I think you'll get a kick out of this one. The guy that comes into the music shop and he's like, I'm looking for like the Doors. He's like, oh, the Doors. You call yourself a Doors fan? This is how you get into the Doors. And the clerk is like telling you how you're supposed to get into the Doors. You're supposed to like start off with this. You like Depeche Mode? Depeche Mode sucks.
They do.
Like, oh, my buddy Troy will definitely flack you on that.
Mark McKinney, that's his name. I miss
McKinney,
Mark
okay.
McKinney.
And the other sketch
Color
was
McKinney.
this guy gets hired by his boss at this bar. Was like, all right, you got the job. Why don't we celebrate and have a drink? And the guy's like, oh, I don't really drink that much. He's like, okay, no, it's fine. Just order this one. I forget the term that he said, but he's like, order this chick drink, as they call it. You know, it's very like.
Oh, and he gets addicted to chick drinks.
He gets addicted.
Girly drinks.
He becomes an alcoholic off of chick drinks, and later on he gets fired from that job.
Oh, this is so dark. Yeah.
It takes such a dark turn by the end where he's on the street just like begging for change just to get one light drink. It's so funny.
Okay, there's 3 bits I remember.
Yeah.
One, it's like the death of rock music. Like Bruce McCullough's like this angst of, yeah, I'm a rock star. That's what I want to do in my life. I'm living in my garage. I don't give a crap. And then Dave Foley, who's the devil, he's just dressed like a regular guy. He's like, actually, Bruce McCullough, this is why rock music has been on the decline lately. As socio-economical things have risen, children and the youth have often felt less oppressed and less meaningless. You're just stuck in a rut, but once you get a job and have kids, you're gonna be just fine, bucko. Oh man,
is that why you
does
call?
not
Is that why?
rock.
Is that why Bucko was your nickname for me for a couple of years when we?
No. I kind of just paraphrased all that, so I'm not 100%. Second favorite part was Dave Foley. It's like this businessman hired an arsonist to work in his office, and he's like, Scott Thomas just comes in. He's like, "Mister, do you have a minute?" He's like, "Oh, what do you want? I'm busy. Get someone else to do it." He's like, Dave Foley's like the worst manager ever. It's like, we have to talk about the French Canadian girl. She's an arsonist. She burnt down the other building down the street. Oh, why did she do that? And then she comes in. It's like Bruce McCullough, who always dresses. He always does like the female role. And he's remarkable that everyone dresses like they do like female parts too. But he does it really well. He's like, hi, I'm not that bad. I'm just a French. She sets things on fire, and he's like, we gotta fire her. How do you fire an arsonist? How do you do it? You're fired. I hate you. Oh, now she hates me. And the best part is that Scott Thomas literally at the end of this guy's like, you're pathetic. No, I'm not. It's just like I feel like you could imitate Dave Foley in that sketch, Cody. I swear
Send that one to me. Send that one to me.
Yeah, I will send it to you. But then my all-time favorite sketch, this one's a classic, is I'm crushing your head. He's like the yuppie killer. He's just some weirdo. Mark McKinney.
I've heard that like quoted, but I haven't seen what it's based on.
Okay, Mark McKinney, just like he goes around like Wall Street. I guess it's supposed to be Wall Street. It's clearly Toronto. But he's just like, he puts his fingers up to his eyes and he's like, yuppie scum, silly businessman, I'm a crushing your head. And he's just like, and then the camera goes into his perspective and he's just like pressing it against people in the like who's far away. And some people, in every sketch, it's always like a guy comes up to us like, what are you doing? And he runs away. Or something like that. I don't know. It was a funny bit. Kids in the Hall is pretty good. Have you seen the movie Brain Candy?
No, I haven't even heard of it.
Kids in the Hall, much like Monty Python, they made a comedy called Brain Candy, and it's set in Toronto. It's not bad. I was almost tempted to cover it in our underrated movies. I like it. It's just a quaint little Kids in the Hall movie. Unfortunately, Dave Foley wasn't in it very much because his contract was like he was working on Spin City, the show with Phil Hartman.
Yeah,
and he was working on that.
Spin City.
Or was that News Radio?
Oh wait, no, sorry. The one with Joe Rogan and Phil Hartman.
Andy Dick.
That was News Radio.
Andy Dick. News Radio. Fuck. Sorry. Spin City was with Marty McFly.
You're right. Oh,
Marty McFly.
Michael
J. Fox. I didn't forget his name.
But wait, was Phil Hartman in Spin Doctors? Or?
No.
Spin Doctors.
Princes who adore you. Just go ahead now. If you want to
call me drunk,
just go ahead now. This man says he wants to buy you rockets.
Whoa.
Just go ahead now.
Taking one of my beers.
I
gotta get you a mug.
Please, no. Go get me go fetch me another.
Holy fuck. Dude.
Anyway,
but Michael J. Fox was in Spin City and Dave Foley was in News Radio. I'm sorry, everybody. So that's why the movie Brain Candy, he's not in it very much because the cast of Kids in the Hall were kind of better at him for moving on with his career.
It is a Canadian show, right?
Kids in the Hall? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't know it's something embarrassing. On the TV guide growing up, I always read it too fast and thought it said Kids in the Hall when really it was King of the Hill.
It's fucking embarrassing. I don't know what to say to that. That's embarrassing.
I thought it was you know what? I'm embarrassed. Whatever. I have stupid stories. Whatever.
Okay,
Maybe I just I missed out on it.
That's Kids in the Hall for me.
I've seen a few, but I wish I watched more.
Yeah, no, I watched a lot as a kid. It was pretty.
Do you guys know Mr. Show?
It sounds familiar.
Can we go back before we move on?
Yeah.
Sorry. You're talking about Kids in the Hall. This may sound like a completely random thought, but I've always wondered what it would be like to, create like a little dub of an animated movie that, like a voice. I always wondered what it would be like to dub like, a classic, voice
what
that
are you
somebody.
doing?
So the point is, since Cody looks like Dave Foley, I wonder if we could dub a scene. No, hear me out. I wonder
Cody,
if,
you should dub Dave Foley. You should dub A Bug's Life.
I was just getting you mind reader crazy.
What a colony and for grass bugs everywhere.
For oppressed bugs everywhere.
Oh,
can you imagine? Can you imagine if Cody, you and I dub a scene from A Bug's Life where I am Hopper, played by Beep, and then it's let this be a lesson to all you ants. Ideas are very dangerous things. You are mindless, soil-shoving losers, put on this earth to serve us. And then Flick goes, You're wrong, Hopper. Ants are not meant to serve grasshoppers. I've seen these ants do great things. And year after year, you gotta do the voice.
How the fuck did we get on a
They
Bug's Life?
They somehow managed to
Foley.
They somehow managed to pick food for themselves and you. So who's the weaker species? Ants don't serve grasshoppers. It's you who need us.
The moral of the story is ants are nice, grasshoppers are dicks.
No. Remember? No. Here's the other moral. No. Here's the other moral. Oh, I gotta believe there's some place out there that's better than this. Otherwise, I'm just gonna open a alarm position and weep. The whole system.
Woody Allen.
The whole system.
Am I doing Woody Allen?
The whole
Cody's doing.
The whole system just
What
makes
are
me.
you getting at it?
The whole system just makes me feel
Evan, we gotta move on.
insignificant.
Okay, we got it. You can quote movies.
Okay.
Mr. Show.
Mr. Show.
Do you
Okay.
guys know Bob Odenkirk?
No. Bob Odenkirk? Yeah.
You know who Bob
Yes.
Odenkirk is?
Yeah.
He was on the
I Better Call Saul.
He was on the Ben Stiller show with Janine Garofalo
Do you
and
know-
David Cross.
Well, David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, that's their show.
They work together a lot. Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Show is a kind of a gem. And I remember Michael and I were talking about this recently where he said that the show is kind of ahead of its time where it takes a little bit of like I don't know if progressive is like the right word, but like it's a very it's a sketch comedy show where actually like it bleeds very nicely into the next show, into the next sketch if I'm
Oh, so it's like a transition where
yeah, like the transitioning is very fluent and it's actually like it's seamless. Like it's not just like fade to black or applauding and then go to the next one,
cut to
whatever.
the next one.
Like it's actually I think another certain show.
So it's kind of like Slacker.
I haven't seen Slacker. Sorry.
You love Richard Linklater and you've never seen Slacker.
I love Dazed and Confused.
That's his first movie. Have you not heard of it?
I don't love all the movies that he's
Well,
done.
I hate Slacker, but I'm surprised you've never seen it.
I will watch it eventually. Hey, there's a growing
It's
watch
like
list that I have.
22
Sorry.
short films about Springfield. You know, one bit leads to the next, to the next, to the next. That's
Wait,
like-
are you saying
it's
that?
like a
Are you
thread,
saying that
a
Dazed
thread
and
line?
Wait, are you saying that Dazed and Confused is the high school equivalent of 22 short films?
No, Evan, you're not listening to me. I said Slacker.
Sorry,
Not
Slacker.
Dazed
Sorry.
and Confused. Dazed and Confused.
But sorry,
is like- sorry.
Mr. Show.
What the fuck?
There's a lot going on.
So,
in this tangent.
There's one sketch that I'll talk about from Mr. Show. I don't want to waste your time with like all the sketches, but there's one sketch that is hysterical.
Okay.
Okay, so it's you have to type it in. It's the story of Everest. Okay? So it's a guy that comes back from apparently climbing Mount Everest, and he wants to tell his whole family about, or his parents, about the experience that he had climbing Mount Everest. And as he's trying to tell the story, he's standing up and he's trying to be all like, theatrical about it and try to talk about it. He trips behind this little dining cart that's behind him, and he knocks over two shelves behind him on the wall, and it falls to the ground, and he falls to the ground. And at first they all laugh about it, like, that's so funny. So then they pick everything up, and everything's fixed and everything's fine. Okay, now continue to tell your story about the Mount Everest. And he's like, all right. And then he trips over it again and knocks it over again. And they're like, okay, one time is funny, the second time is not really that funny. He's like, I'm sorry, I just can't. It's like, you think you just move the dining cart and then you wouldn't run into the situation. But then like a neighbor comes in and he wants to hear the whole story about Everest, but also the parents think it's so funny that he knocked over the fucking shelves. And the whole time, like, this guy knocks over this shelf so many times in this sketch, and it's so funny looking. He's a really good physical comedian, whoever the actor played. And then all of a sudden, Hollywood calls him and says, we want to adapt your story on you climbing Mount Everest into a movie. And he goes to the premiere of the movie, and on screen, it's him trying to tell the story, but the highlight of the movie is him tripping over the dining cart and knocking over the fucking shelves, and the whole audience laughs their ass off, and outside the theater, it literally has like a poster or a banner that says, the story of Mount Everest, a laugh out loud riot. And this guy has like no will to live, that he tries to kill himself, and his hands get run over by a fucking like car because he tripped over that as well. No, that's the only sketch I wanted to bring up, but it's an underrated little gem. It's an underrated little gem.
Okay. Then.
So, I have something I want to talk about.
Sure.
Okay. And now for something completely different. It's Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Oh, here we go, baby. Okay.
The Argument Clinic.
This is an argument. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Yeah, I paid you for the argument. No, you didn't. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
No, this isn't an argument. This is contradiction. No, it isn't. Yes, it is.
You sold me a dead parrot.
This is an ex-parrot.
If you hadn't nailed it
Oh,
to
then
the
we better
punch,
replace it then.
you'd be pushing up the
Oh my
daisies.
god. Spam, 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 spam. Do you have anything on this menu that doesn't serve spam? Spam, spam, spammity, spam, spam. Oh my god, we're gonna be here for hours quoting Monty Python. Monty Python is fucking hilarious.
I am Arthur, king of the... This isn't a sketch.
think-
I am Arthur, king of the Britons.
Well, that's the movie.
There is not a sketch where I'm not laughing or chuckling. I'm not kidding.
Hands.
Which is funny because
Ugh.
British humor is very dry, but they make it work,
Well, because
man.
they throw everything at the fucking
Yeah,
wall,
yeah.
dude. Like, they don't even care.
What's that show with the guy that played Drop Dead Fred? The Young Ones?
Oh, I remember those shows.
Oh my god, Lyle. It's like fucking British nonsense. It's just loud, crazy, fucking just... It's
Yeah.
I've seen bits of this show. It's just so
I
crazy.
mean, no hyperbole. I think this is the best sketch show of all time.
Yeah, no, I
The best
contest.
comedy troupe
Wait,
of all
are we...
time.
Can we go back to Monty Python before we get into
We're talking about Monty
We
Python.
are.
I
Sorry,
said
you said it.
they are the best. It
We're
is
talking
the
about Monty
best.
Python. Can we go back to talking about Monty Python?
Sorry, I've had
That's not an argument. This is a
quote-
contradiction.
to quote Lady
No, it
Gaga.
isn't.
To quote Lady Gaga. To quote Lady Gaga.
Alright, much
I've
to
had a
say.
little bit too much.
Alright, then calm down now. This is far too silly. We must move on, move on.
Oh,
Get on with it!
Excuse me for my silly walk.
Oh, the silly ones.
The silly walks is
My
hysterical.
favorite sketch is such a... It's not even the most classic sketch. You remember the cheese shop?
Oh, of course.
The
Do you have any Gouda?
No.
Do you have any Lange?
No.
No? Cheddar?
No.
Mozzarella?
No.
Swiss?
No.
He names Evan. He goes into a cheese shop and names every single cheese
And
known
then
to
the very end
mankind.
of it, he's just like-
At the very end, he's like, all right, we'll just reenact it. Like, let me ask you, do you have any cheese in the shop at all?
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask you that question once more, and if you say no, then I'm going to shoot you directly in the face. Now, do you have any cheese at all?
No.
What a senseless waste of human life.
He puts on a cowboy hat. It's like, it's not much of a cheese shop now, is it?
Remember in the middle of the sketch, it just cuts to a Viking saying, anyway. And then the guy goes, who said that? Like, the sketch just cuts to something else.
Oh,
and
what
they
about
acknowledge
this?
it.
I didn't expect that. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
There we go. There we go. Now we're bringing it, like, we all know. We all know.
Everyone knows
this.
this, yeah.
Oh, do you remember how to defend yourself against fruit? John Cleese is hosting or he's like the coach of this like training class for how to defend yourself against against fruit. All right, now you come at me with this banana. Come on, come on, come on. He goes He runs at him, shoots him right in the head. He goes there. That's how you defend yourself against a banana. He failed. But wait, shouldn't we defend ourselves against a gun? Shut up! He's like, now I'm gonna turn around. You guys come at me with oranges or whatever it was. He goes, now the first thing you do to defend yourself against oranges is to release the tiger. And literally, it's just a stuffed tiger on a dolly, getting going towards them, and you're just hearing them off camera getting mauled, and it's so cheap. It's so funny.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I work all night and I sleep all day.
What about the one where the guy, Mr. Williams, goes to the doctor and he's fucking stabbed and...
Oh, yes.
I actually, in my, I was in a special needs class, and for one of our, drama projects, we actually reenacted that scene.
Oh,
where,
nice.
He's, bleeding out and he needs medical care, and that's all I remember about it, but yeah.
Quick little question. Oh, wait, sorry, go ahead.
Hey, remember the Olympics? The silly
Oh,
Olympics or
my
whatever?
God.
They just go, oh, you almost made it. Well, I guess not. Or something like that. I don't know how it goes. It was just
All right, now
crazy.
it's time for the deaf people doing their running the long or what is it the 100-meter dash. Ready and they all just don't move because they can't hear the
They
fucking
can't hear the
gunshot.
damn thing, yeah. Holy shit.
Who's your favorite member of the whole crew?
That's an easy question. Mine's John Cleese.
John Cleese, yeah.
So deadpan, excellent delivery, excellent voice. I just love. I could hear him for hours.
That's tough. I think Graham Chapman, rest in peace. I just think
You like him the most?
his freakouts are so funny.
I don't know. I always saw him as the straight man, which is ironic because he was the.
But the funny thing is,
he was-
when he plays
he
a
was
straight
gay.
man, they completely flip it around. Like there's that one. Remember that one sketch where like John Cleese is like trying to come on to Graham Chapman during like the job interview, and then almost like he's clearly being like uncomfortable about it, Graham Chapman. And at the end, he's like, John Cleese's like, oh, you know what? I think I was just gonna. The whole reason why I've been acting so creepy is just because I've been wanting to ask you on a date. And then Graham Chapman looks in the camera, and goes, he asked me, and then it just cuts to them like frolicking through the flowers. Like he's the straight man, and then they completely flip it around, and he's like all of a sudden the crazy
wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, say no more.
Nudge, wink, wink. Eric Idle, yes, yes.
I'm sorry. There was a speck of dirt on my fork. Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. No, don't worry, it's just a speck. Oh, but to me, it's the biggest eyesore of the world. Where's the dishwasher? How dare you ruin the reputation of our restaurant with your terrible cleaning? Glad you didn't tell me about the dirty plate.
There's so many good ones.
I'm surprised Graham Chapman's your favorite. I don't hear that too
Well,
often.
no.
It's usually either
I'm
like...
pointing. No, sorry. But also Michael Palin is also. I think the dynamic between Michael Palin and John Cleese click really well in their sketches.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's probably why I'm a fan of the underrated gem, A Fish Called Wanda.
Is it? You know, it's weird. I tried watching that movie and I didn't really get it.
You need to watch it again.
I should watch it again. I should say
Kevin Kline deserved the Academy Award that he got because Kevin Kline, that is one of the Otto is one of the funniest fucking characters in cinematic history.
Yeah, I got to the point where he had sex with Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm like, yeah, all right.
He's hysterical. He makes Homer Simpson look like a genius. I'm not kidding. He's so stupid but so funny. It's amazing. It's I don't know how he portrayed that character. But anyways,
what's your favorite movie of the bunch?
Probably Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, close second would be honestly The Holy Grail. Very close second. I just think that there's so many memorable parts and quotable parts in Life of Brian.
I'm a weirdo. My favorite is Meaning of Life.
The Meaning of Life is fine. I actually thought you were gonna go with it. The funny thing is about...
Because I actually don't like Life of Brian.
No?
Not really.
A lot of people don't, actually.
I don't know. I think it's because both that and Monty Python and the Holy Grail, they both have really unsatisfying endings. I like it.
Hey, Eric Idle wrote that song in 15 minutes. Did you know that?
I know. It was just like, oh, Brian.
Always look on the bright side of life.
He wrote that in 15 minutes.
He did. It's true.
He was the songwriter of the group. I like Eric Idle's songwriting.
Yeah.
Just genius, yeah.
Terry Gilliam was kind of like the one that was more of the artistic director.
He was the only American in the group.
Yeah?
He was the only American in the group. And then he moved to Britain and then he got a citizenship. But he was the only American in the group.
Oh, wow.
And, like, he didn't do very much on screen. He was kind of just like, I was in a line or something like that.
Yeah.
Welcome to the middle of the film. But he was the animator. He always did all the crazy animations. He did the main titles. And that was a good niche for him. I think that made him stand out amongst the others.
Sure, yeah.
It's like Eric was the songwriter. John Cleese was the deadpan delivery man. Michael Palin, what would you say his gimmick was?
He was kind of the gentleman.
The gentleman, yeah, he was the nice guy.
He was the nice guy.
Graham Chapman was the actor, the guy who always delivered the
Terry Jones was more...
Terry the Jones was the loud one.
Yeah.
And then
he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
Do I have a big nose, Mummy? Stop thinking about sex. Is this too big? Is this too small? Goodness gracious.
I think that was it, right? That was the whole crew? The 6 of them?
Yeah, there's only 6 of them, actually.
Yeah. Oh, God, no. Mighty Python is just laugh out loud, stomach hurting, tears in your eyes, hysterical comedy.
Yes, absolutely.
It's classic.
I would not disagree with that.
We almost should have ended it with that one, but...
Yeah. I'm so glad my mom got me into that.
There are 3... Yeah. Now, moving on.
Good job, Wiles' mom.
Sure is the boy.
Absolutely.
Nice
Cheers
boy.
to her.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Here's to her.
Now, there are 3 shows that work very well together in terms of its 3... There's 3 shows that I love to talk about.
There's one I know we're going to talk about.
All right, we're going to talk about the African-American sketch comedies. My favorite. My absolute favorite.
In living color.
You can do what you wanna do.
In living color.
In living color. This is a fucking gem, and the problem is, it is so dated and problematic today that it's just it pains me. If you're a fan of cancel culture, Oh boy, get your hands on the DVD. Get your hands on the DVD collection of In Living Color, and you will just be offended.
I love it though.
But it's fucking hilarious.
I don't care.
It's hilarious. It's the Wayans brothers. It's Keenan Ivory Wayans created the show with all of his family members, like Damon Wayans, Marlon Wayans. Marlon Wayans came a little bit later. Kim Wayans, his sister. You got Jim Carrey getting his start as James Carrey, actually.
Oh.
James Carrey, yes.
Because
Kim Wayans?
Guy,
or not Kim
kid,
Wayans, sorry.
Kid from Newmarket. Isn't that insane?
Geordie LaForge, was he on that show?
Crystal DeKira? Sorry?
The guy who played Geordie in Star Trek, was he on it?
Geordie.
Yeah, the guy with the visor on his face.
Well, there's Damon Wayans.
Oh, the guy from Reading Rainbow.
LeVar Burton?
LeVar Burton.
I don't think so.
I think I'm being dumb again. In Living Color.
Krista Keenan was also another cast member. David Allen Greer.
Kelly Caulfield. I'm thinking of
Kelly Caulfield, and I think that was it. Oh God, like Evan. You want to see a hilarious sketch? Okay. You like Jim Carrey, obviously, right?
David Allen Greer. That was his name.
David Allen Greer, yes.
God,
so
dumb.
Jim Carrey plays a fire marshal named Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh, Jamie Foxx was on the show too.
Jamie Foxx came later on. He played Wanda, his famous sketch Wanda, where he plays like a woman with like really horrible looking like a lip job. It's so funny. Sorry, Jim Carrey has Fire Marshal Bill. His teeth are exposed. His face is completely burnt, and he's like, "Let me show you some fire hazards. Let me show you something." So he goes on to tell you like little cautionary things that you need to like look out for in your house about like to look out for causing a fire, and he causes the fire.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
Like he just does the police on.
He blows up himself. He it's so over the top. It's so like hilarious. Damon Wayans has a lot of eccentric characters on the show. There's Homie the Clown.
The best part of the show.
He plays a guy who's on probation.
So that's where that Simpsons episode got its name from.
Homie don't play that.
He plays a guy who's on probation that has to be a clown to impress kids, and all the kids are just played by the cast members. They're all adults.
Yeah.
He's completely cynical and miserable. He's like, "Oh, let me guess, you just want me to act like a clown and make you amused, huh?" And he whacks you in the head with a sock filled with socks and goes, "I don't think so. Homie, don't play that."
Yeah.
He's just a complete asshole to everybody. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's just angry.
Anton Jackson, the homeless guy, like, "My name is Anton Jackson." He carries around a jar of his piss with a piece of shit floating in it.
Oh, you remember the critics? He's like, "Yeah, we saw the movie.
Yes. So you're a fan of Siskel and Ebert. So you want to see the gay version of Siskel and Ebert?
The gay black version.
The gay black version?
We saw the movie.
"Hello, I'm Anton Merriweather, and I'm Blake not Blake Edwards, sorry.
I don't know.
I'm Blaine Edwards, and I'm Antoine Merriweather, and welcome to Net on Film. We're going to be talking about movies today. So first movie we're going to talk about is Total Recall. Oh God, that Schwarzenegger is so great. Then our next movie is Little Women. Hated it. Their quote was hated it. So anytime they talk about a movie that's like centered around women, they always go hated it.
That was the joke. I missed that.
Yeah. Then they're like,
because I saw it when I was a kid.
The first movie we're going to talk about today is Black Widow, starring Teresa Russell and Deborah Winger. Hated it. They did a lot of varieties, like men on books, men on sports, men on vacation, like men on television, anything centered around women. And then the worst thing that they ever did on the show was one of the stage lights falls on one of the characters and knocks them out, and the one wakes up straight. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you wearing all these funny clothes?" He's like, "What are you talking about, Blaine?" Like, "What? No, what?" Like, he wakes up straight. It's so fucking bad but funny. I can't help not to laugh.
Oh my God.
It's so problematic, but yeah, I don't know. I get a soft spot over it.
No, it's great.
I think also what it is that you sort of laugh at the notion that wow, this was a 20th Century Fox television show.
Wow.
Yeah, they got away with it.
This was a primetime television show that they got away with so much shit. It's so funny.
Can't forget the musical numbers, too. The Fly Girls.
The Fly Girls. You want to know where Rosie Perez and your favorite, Lyle, J-Lo. You want to see some women dance around to some nice hip hop music, DJ'd by SW1 himself, Sean Waynes. Y'all know from the White Chicks and Scary Movie movies.
Yep.
Or at least the first two, I think. Yeah. It's him DJing. Him DJing to some old school hip hop while these ladies are dancing. Like those segues, because it goes sketch, Fly Girls Dance, sketch, Fly Girls Dance. It's just early 90s at its finest.
Pretty much.
If you ever want to borrow it, I have the first 3 seasons on DVD.
Oh, cool. We should watch that.
We should watch them. They're funny fucking sketches. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good. I think that's my second favorite sketch show, just behind Monty Python, just because it always pushed the envelope so much.
It really pushed it, but you always go with the excuses that, well, you know what, it is, a bunch of black people, they're making fun of the culture. So it's like, you can't really fault them for that. They're exaggerating stereotypes and all this stuff. Like, it's almost like if you're making fun of yourself, how can you be offended?
It felt pretty real, honestly.
Who can be offended if someone's making fun of themselves, kind of thing, Like, it's genuine, and it felt like a family. There was very, You know what, that might be my favorite.
Your favorite, right?
Yeah.
I'm still in Monty Python, but I'd say that's a very good show. What's the next show you want to talk about?
The next show, taking it forward. So we go from the 90s to the early 2000s with Chappelle Show. Chappelle Show.
Mr. Chappelle, guy who Netflix hates one day and then embraces another.
Yeah, he's
Dave
very
Chappelle.
how dare he speak his mind and be freedom of speech. It's
Jesus.
I don't agree with some of the stuff that he says, but I'm not going to cancel him over it.
Well, here's the
fuck?
The reason why I will always have respect for Dave Chappelle is because after George Floyd, may he rest in peace, got murdered by that cop, Dave Chappelle, like a week after, threw together like an impromptu comedy sketch in like some cornfield in the middle of the country. In a pandemic, he said, you can come, but you have to wear a mask. You can't have a fever. You can't show any COVID symptoms. And he's like, this man kneeled on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Can you imagine that? Like, it's like, I always respect Dave Chappelle.
Oh no, his stand-up is very good. It's very
excellent comedian.
It's of its time too. The stand-up, but the Chappelle Show was.
I'm sorry. By the way,
I'm sorry. I'm
a little drunk, but
we'll watch it.
I'm sorry if I was a little too on the nose with the lisp aspect, but
well, he doesn't have that much of a lisp. But
he does. Yeah, sorry.
But anyway, sorry. So Chappelle Show was, this was around the time where it only lasted only 2.5 seasons. Barely a third season. I would say 2 seasons.
It pushed so many buttons.
Now, this was around the time where Bush was in office. And of course, he really wanted to go to town with like the political, just the world.
The Iraq War.
The world that, if you want a case in point, look up Black Bush. Like if President Bush was black, it's one of the funniest things you'll ever see in your life.
And this was like how many years before Obama? Was this?
It's fucking hilarious, actually. Yeah, there's so many classic ones. Like, again, I just talked about Anton Jackson from Inland Color. He plays another homeless guy, a crack guy. And this guy, what's his name again? The guy, he has like crack all over his lips. he's like, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Like,
he sounds like Towley.
No, but he's just like cocaine. He drinks Red Balls. It gives me wangs. It's cocaine in a can, baby.
I don't know. I never watched the show, so I can't say. Yeah.
There's also Eddie Murphy's brother, Charlie Murphy. May him rest in peace.
Oh, he passed away?
By the way, he went on to talk about this story about...
Sorry to interrupt, but on Eddie Murphy. According to what I've heard from The Amazing Atheist, apparently he did whiteface at one point. Which are we talking about?
Well, on Saturday Night Live, he went intentionally as whiteface just to see how other white people will react. Yeah. Well, speaking of Dave Chappelle going whiteface is the hilarious thing. He talks very mannered and very over the top like a white person, and it's fun, like Dave Chappelle going whiteface. I mean, I don't care at all. It's hilarious. It's so funny. But no, sorry. Charlie Murphy telling the story on how he met Rick James, super freak Rick James.
Yeah, the musician.
And just how so high he was during the times. He met him 3 encounters where he pissed him off so much, and the whole famous phrase, "I'm Rick James, bitch." It's so funny. I can't do it justice describing it, but it's really funny. Now the funny thing is, what made Dave Chappelle quit his show was that he was about to do a third season because like the second season was so critically acclaimed. Like people loved it. DVD sales ate up everywhere. Like people love Chappelle Show, right, at the time. He wanted to do a third season, and this guy walked away from $55 million and like literally like went to Africa, like disappeared. He like vanished off the face of the earth because he wanted to step away from the show because of one sketch that he did that he felt like he went a little too far with embracing the stereotype. And the whole premise was it was the Pixie sketch.
Oh.
I might have to show you it, but it's basically the whole idea is that, like, say it's like a Mexican guy saying, like, he's getting his car redone and all that, and the guy's like, all right, here's your keys, the car's redone, do you want me to throw any extra stuff in? The guy goes, no, it's okay. And he goes, no, hey, I threw in these, like, leopard skin seat covers in there. And then, like, it's almost like a shoulder angel where it's like they pop up and it's Dave Chappelle going, yeah, man, it's fucking leopard. Go for it. Yeah, man. Like embracing the stereotype. Dave Chappelle's on like a plane and he's like, oh, what are the meals for on the plane? Oh, so we have the chicken and the we have the fish and the fried chicken. And then the Pixie pops up going, yeah, man, go for the fried chicken.
Oh my God.
You know, like just embrace the stereotype. And he's like, I went too far. I quit the show.
Just for that? That doesn't even sound that bad.
And what's interesting is that Charlie Murphy and another cast member named Donnell Rawlings, they were kind of hosting the show while Dave Chappelle was just like absent from it, just to show some of these sketches that they shot. And they wanted to ask the studio audience, what did you think of these sketches? And all of them were like, yeah, it was funny, but like, you know, that's the whole point of this whole show is that we're just trying, like, basically in a nutshell, they're all just saying that, like, it's just fuck political correctness. Like, this is all comedy.
That's always been a shtick, yeah.
It's all comedy. Like, you know, it's like, you're not supposed to be offended by it, really. It's just, you know, like, it's all fun and games, really. It's not trying to, like, educate you. It's not trying to lecture you. It's not trying to push an agenda. It's all about just, like, can we just all laugh at this obscurity that, like, society can build itself around it.
Yeah, I quite like Dave Chappelle. I like this Sticks and Stones special. I also, oh my God, we have to watch like Half Baked together sometime. We need to order a big pizza.
The thing is,
drink beer.
Okay, you know what we're gonna do?
Dave Chappelle and Neil
Next
Brennan,
boys' night, we're watching Half Baked, and I'm gonna order from
the Pizza Hut next to us.
Well, if we do it at the Android Dungeon, we're ordering from either 2-for-1 or a Geno's.
2-for-1's better.
Sounds good. This funny thing is,
2-for-1's more economical.
That's a party movie.
Dave Chappelle and Neil Brennan wrote Half Baked, and they're the two creators of Chappelle Show.
I believe it, yeah.
Like Neil Brennan, he pops up here and there in the show, just playing like the generic white guy that gets like the shaft of the whole situation. Chappelle Show, that might be runner up. That's just so fucking funny.
Yeah. Nice.
And then we're going all the way to the 2010s, another decade later. This is a show that Veronica introduced me to. Key and Peele.
I haven't watched much of Key.
Definitely a lot more safer. Not really safer, but definitely more accessible to get into. There's no laugh track. There's no like studio audience. It's very like...
Oh, cool.
Have you and V seen Keanu?
Yes.
Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, no, I you know, it kind of feels like a live action version of like their exaggeration. I can tell you that these two are just so good at exaggerating everything.
Like, have you seen Keanu, Lyle?
No.
I feel like
really
Lyle isn't a big cat guy, but...
No, I hate cats.
Yeah.
I don't think you hate cats. You just had a bad experience with my mom's kitten.
That's right. I hate cats, but I think Catwoman is like, oh, yeah.
They embrace some
funny... I'm fucking weird.
They embrace a lot of, like, you know, because they're both biracial, and they both kind of, like, play really well at playing, like, either a black person or some just, you know, normal person, whatever. Like, they just kind of go back and forth, whatever. But... The one sketch that I think you will get a kick out of, Lyle, is one where Jordan Peele is getting confronted by his wife about not clearing his internet history on like the type of porn that he watches, and he's like sweating, like it's
meme with the sweat.
Yeah, the meme with the sweat of just like sweat rolling down his face of just like, you know, like I didn't clear my history.
I know two jokes from the show. First joke I know because it became a meme. It's the one where like. I don't know, it's some political thing. He's like, hey, everybody. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hey, guys. How's it going? He's like walking down a list of people and he reacts to them differently each time he passes.
Oh, yep.
And someone did a thing where it's like when a director meets every member of the crew. And it's like, he just like bumps into each one.
Oh,
and one more. Last one is the one where like they go into a classroom like, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna teach you how to eat pussy correctly because you've been fucking it up all these decades.
Yeah. Take a peach of practice. Take a peach of practice.
All right,
take a peach of practice.
What you want to do? You want to say the alphabet inside of pussy. Like A, B, C, D. Then you'll be a and they start moaning. You keep that letter up. D. Z.
Yo, what was that? What's that song? Okay, it's like this like half hip hop song where it's like
that's a Sam Kinison joke.
Yo, what was? I don't know if this is a comedy sketch, but I've seen this performed live in like concert venues where it's like face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or?
No, no fucking idea.
Hey, the most famous the most famous sketch that's been shared a lot is the substitute teacher sketch, where Key plays a substitute teacher, comes in, he's like, all right, we're gonna do a roll call of attendance. D-Nice. Is D-Nice here? And the girl goes, don't you mean Denise? Oh, okay. Are you really gonna be talking to me like that nonsense name? Denise? No, say your name D-Nice. Okay, next one. Balake. Is Balake here today? My name's Blake. Are you kidding me? You're gonna mess around with me today? Mm-hmm. Blake. Your name is Balake. Like he pronounces the names as they're read. He just goes
like phonetically, yeah.
Yeah. Jaquale. Don't you mean Jacqueline? Son of a bitch! Son of a bitch! Oh, it's pretty funny.
I can't say I watched this show much, but yeah, some bits are like I like how far it goes. You're right. It's not edgy humor, but it's just like an exaggerated humor.
Very exaggerated. Like there's the majority of it. I was you know what? I saw it at BMV. The whole series was on DVD for $40. I'm like, fuck it, why not? It's worth it, you know. And that's where I'll say that televisionized sketch comedy ended. Because as you said before, Evan, that Seth MacFarlane animated show, and stuff like Robot Chicken and Funny or Die.
Well, no, Seth Green. You got your Seths mixed up there, Cody. Seth Green.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like little vignettes of sketches, even if they're quick or not. Because again, guys, YouTube, late 2000s,
Adult Swim,
late 2000s. Well, Adult Swim was more like a channel devoted.
We're gonna let Lyle talk about this.
Lyle's like gone away. No, sorry. What I was saying was, at the time in the late 2000s, I felt like the way that we perceive sort of like sketch comedies or little shorts kind of changed because, okay, I'm taking you all the way back to like the early, like the maybe late 2000s. Like, do you remember like channels like Make Me Bad 35?
Vaguely.
Or Smosh.
Smosh.
Or F&D Films.
Smosh was YouTube exclusive.
You want to talk about hit or miss? There was a lot more misses on these channels. Yeah. And seeing how we're in this day and age of internet videos and all that, like
Cody.
All these are kind of like sketches where you're like, okay, now it doesn't make anything. It doesn't make the televisionized sketches anything special anymore. Now the whole wave now is like internet, and now all you have to do is just be funny. And the death of this whole thing was actually very early with Fred. Thank you so much for fucking finishing my sentence because
just on the right sentence.
Fred is a fucking hack.
Fred fucks.
Lucas Crucius.
So here we are, guys. We're in this weird situation where it's like we can just throw up, like any sort of sketch, but it can be just like, professionally made. Like anybody can make it. Any production can make it. But there's not really a place anymore for sketch comedies that are on TV. And I think now, and I'm saying this right now, I'm taking a chug of my fucking drink and I'm going to say this right now.
Okay.
We need a show that cuts into the fucking bullshit that is today. I want a show that just taps into everything. Just make fun of fucking cancel culture. Make fun of fucking COVID. Make fun of fucking everything.
Dude, Chappelle did a whole special... Because you know Chappelle caught COVID.
I know.
He got COVID and he recovered.
But not stand-up. I'm talking about, like, I want sets. I want a laugh track.
Like a social distancing sketch where some anti-masker fuck is like...
Saturday Night Live is like walking on eggshells right now.
Oh yeah, they're so lame.
They're so fucking lame.
Yeah.
And when they do make, I guess, quote-unquote, edgy joke, it's very, like, passive, and it doesn't really hit. You know?
Meanders, too.
It's very calculated, Saturday Night Live. I mean, it's striving right now, but really all that the selling point of Saturday Night Live right now is who's hosting? Who's the musical guest?
Ooh, Anya Taylor-Joy? Oh, my God.
Oh my God! And Billie Eilish is now
Billie Eilish.
What's her name? Sorry,
I don't fucking care.
Sorry.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Yeah, sorry. She's the musical guest. Like that's the highlight of Saturday Night Live now. It's like, but wait, what happened to the comedy? I like to laugh. It's like we live in real life. We get how much bullshit happens in real life. Can we all just laugh about it sometimes? Exaggerate it. Make it relatable. Blow it out of proportion. Please.
I remember.
Please.
I remember the SNL, the David S. Pumpkins guy by Tom Hanks. Yeah, have you heard of that sketch? Okay. It's a sketch. It makes no damn sense. It's like Tower of Terror, like like the Haunted Mansion from Disneyland.
Yes.
It's like so that
was a shitty Eddie Murphy movie too.
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't mind it. Maybe I was in the right mood when I saw it, but I was. Okay. So Tom Hanks.
That was English.
Okay. Let me finish my thoughts. So Tom Hanks is dressed in this shitty pumpkin costume. Like he's just got this suit. They're like, "Hi there, kids. My name is David S. Pumpkin. I will scare the hell out of you." And it's like the music, like, but that got so popular that SNL couldn't even quantify why it was funny, so they made an entire animated special about the character.
Oh.
And, like, they tried to capitalize on the humor, even though they didn't really understand why it worked in the first place. Tom Hanks himself was like, it was the dumbest thing I've ever done my whole career, and people loved it.
But, like...
They don't know why.
Is it all on YouTube? Or?
It's on YouTube, yeah, I'll send it to you, yeah.
Alright, well, gentlemen, there's one more show that I'll talk about today.
Let's wrap this up.
I want to know. You guys can take your last little swig.
We kind of stopped playing the game like an hour ago.
I know, fuck it, whatever.
That's
how, like, cops, or ambulance, whatever.
Ambulance.
People doing their goddamn job. People doing their job.
Okay, one more show.
Right.
Guys, there's a little bit of hope. Well, not really hope. This show is just absolute... This show is just absolute random nonsense that I'm like, I guess it does count as a sketch show, but...
Planet Sketch?
No.
Robot Chicken?
No.
I love Robot Chicken.
Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job.
Tim and Eric, I was wondering if someone was going to bring that up.
Like, it is such... It's almost art.
Why?
How random it is, and how much it just tickles me from how stupid it is, and I can't describe it. This is actually a tough show to really pin down.
Why?
It's like, what is the joke?
Invented by the Romans for orgies, and orgies are not too much fun if no one wants to do with you.
They get so many critical actors on here. My favorite is like John C. Reilly.
Steve Brule.
Dr. Steve Brule.
Favorite character of all time.
My favorite thing. I'm Dr. Steve Brule. But another Brule rule for you. If you're raking the leaves and it gets all over your driveway, just hose it off, dummy.
Just hose it off, dummy.
It's for health.
Let's go make some sandwiches.
When he's cooking.
It's not so hard.
I mean, it is Adult Swim. It is just like fire on all cylinders of just fucking nonsense to make you laugh.
I love it because the entire aesthetic is like those fucking things that Red Letter Media rip on, like Best of the Worst.
Yeah.
Just stupid videotapes that you would find. and self-help
But they
guides.
play it so straight. That's
Do
what's so funny
they?
about it.
I feel like they just do whatever and
But
they edit the fuck out of it.
They do whatever at playing it so straight, but while it is so random, that's what I mean. It's so hard to pin down. It's so fucking hard to pin down. What are ones that you know, Evan?
Eric is a chronic masturbator. He masturbates all over his store.
I mean, I just know that meme where he blows a guy away, and it's like, how could, like, let's say, toxic masculinity blows away a guy. How could feminism do this?
We need, or the what about that one meme where it's like the mind blown that.
He's like, hey, it's a free house. Hey, it's free real estate. it's like you can just take your car and put it in the house. It's a free house. He's like, oh, what about the lady? Eric Warren. There's a lady who works in an office, and Tim Heidecker's his boss that she has a crush on, and Tim Heidecker's just horrible to her. It's like, I'm gonna lose some fucking weight. His awful green screen, and then he's lost a single pound. Mission success.
Intentional awful green screen.
Oh, the green screen's freaking. So, oh, what about? This is what I do. I sit on you. Sit on you. Sit on you.
This is what I do. I sit on you. Right on your lap. This is what I do. I sit on you. Sit on you. Sit on you. This is what I do. I sit on you. Right on your.
Make my bubba bounce. You make my bubba bounce.
I think it's so pinnacle Adult Swim that like it's just like it's a milestone of
Does
that
it have
channel.
the same editor as the Eric Andre show? Because I swear to God, the style of humor is so similar.
I remember I had on it was back when I was home with Wednesday with Veronica, and the Eric Andre show came on Adult Swim right after Rick and Morty, and for that 15 minutes, I'm just howling with laughter. And Veronica's just watching this, just like, she's so annoyed by it. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Veronica wouldn't like it either.
She's just questioning my intelligence and my... Oh my god.
So where are we going with this? We like stupid things?
You know, guys, I think we ended up, I hope you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
We had a great
had
time.
a couple cold shots.
I mean, comedy sketch shows are filled with laughs, and I think... Every single one of us just had a huge laugh tonight.
Oh my god, I was on the floor.
This has been the craziest episode of Pop Talk, and I think this is like a gem.
Let's not make it a habit that we drink
Cody.
every single
No.
Cody.
Okay, full disclosure.
Cody.
Not a reoccurring thing of getting drunk.
Cody.
This is all playing
I'm
games.
sorry, but there's one sketch comedy that I think you missed. It has to do with like this little 4-year-old boy. It's like, I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more. I like exploring. I'm Caillou. And every single episode of that show is just him. It's a sketch.
You're a liar.
It's a comedy about how this poor kid has behavioral issues, and he just throws temper tantrums at everything. He gets what he wants.
No, Caillou, why? You're infecting my show with your goddamn bullshit.
Evan, how dare you? Stop fucking talking about Caillou. It's not.
Oh, you want pillow fight? Pillow fight?
No. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, as these two do their pillow fight right now.
This is what I do.
Am I?
As these two continue with their pillow fight, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Pop Talk. Please subscribe to So to Speak and leave a like and drop a comment, and I will see you on the next one.
I am the out, am I?
See Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters December 17th.
Which has already come out, but anyways,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Cue the guitar.